Last year, I created an alternative history video depicting what would have happened to Philippine television if COVID-19 had never occurred. With the lame duck administration destroying a major popular television network, even in real life, that loss left an indelible imprint. The rest has to learn and to keep better expectations for the displaced viewers. We humans tend to make educated guesses and compare them to real-life events. I correctly predicted Rabia Mateo's Miss Universe pageant placement, but I misidentified the athlete who won the country's first Olympic gold medal. Okay, let's keep going on this journey of what could have happened this year, 2021. What was their first full year in a new landscape with a surviving pipe and other challenges in the alternate Earth timeline? Before I made my alternate outcome for each network, 2021 was filled with common events in our country amidst the pandemic. But can you imagine what could have happened in the common events without COVID-19? The National Quincentennial commemorations would have been promoted all the channels like with our centennial celebrations back in 1998. However, it will be split into two. The state-centric celebrations go to PTV, while church-centric ones go to TV Maria and other partners. The death of former President Aquino Jr. would have covered more than one location. Beyond the Church of the Jesu and Ateneo de Manila University, it would have lasted more than a day. This would have given a chance for people to flock until his final interment in Manila Memorial Park. Had COVID-19 never happened, hundreds of thousands to millions would mourn more as more would rebuke Duterte on the ground. You know, like we mourned for its mother Cory and berated Gloria Macapagal Arroyo back in 2009. Now let's go to the individual networks. Like today, GMA's honeymoon period has ended with the exodus of talents from Mother Ignacia and the creatives, especially who stopped by temporarily at TV5, finding a definite job and financial security. Pok Wang would have been an Wawa win, reuniting with her ex-colleague Willie Revillame. Mr. Johnny Manahan's first involvement in GMA would have happened by now. Newly transferred talents like Bea Alonzo, Kim Atienza, and John Lloyd Cruz would have been the first members to partake our version of The Running Man. Because of their virtual dominance, political advertisements before the filing period and during the campaign period are merely bonuses to them. However, these bonuses would be better spent investing in regional newscasts, as they're the only ones with that expertise, track record, and sports, which they don't. GMA Regional TV would have captured the audiences gradually once held by their former rival. After getting a newscast from Bicol, they could have launched a dedicated Chabacano newscast for Zamboanga with the opening of the regional station in October. Batangas would have launched this tail end of the year. To compensate for the aftermath of Typhoon Eunice in 2020, the maintenance of transmitters and the construction of stations to create future dedicated newscasts in Cagayan Valley and Cordillera Administrative Region would have been rolling. In red, GMA News TV became GTV last February after signing a new medium-term contract with the National Collegiate Athletic Association, NCAA, that would last through the league centennial. In this AET, GAB would have started much later, when the said Collegiate League began their season 97. The Philippine Superliga from TV5 would have been on that new broadcast partner after they got their premier volleyball league. In terms of beauty pageants, the national pageants for Miss Universe would have aired on a similar arrangement as it happened in the RET. Only Miss World would remain fully committed to GMA. While we do praise them for having their digital subchannels non-encrypted and the cheapest branded digital DV receiver there for the box, their channel offering would be a bit different in this scenario. While iHeart movies would exist, DepETV wouldn't, as there would be no pandemic. Instead, Double BTV would have taken place, pretty much what Teleradio did. In alternate 2021, TV5 would probably realize that forging their path in an entertainment program ahead was a bad idea. Like what happened earlier this year, in real Earth time, they gave up their path of entertainment programming and integrated with primetime programs from the ex-media giant, giving the Reliance Network significant advantage. As part of rekindling the relations with Viva, their game shows would have lasted longer as they have studio audience. Like today, Singaling would be revived with much excitement, and Niña Niño would still be a successful teleserye without undergoing a lock-in taping, and viewers couldn't tell any difference. Miss Philippines Card and Binibini Pilipinas would have been a broadcast in partnership with Mother Ignacia, and their organizers would agree to that. Right now, they had to bear the brunt of every sports broadcasting contract once held by Mother Ignacia, except the NCAA, which is already given to GMA, and the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League (PBL), which will be given to another channel. The PBL and the University Athletic Association of the Philippines (UAAP) would have juggled with the FIBA Asia Cup in Indonesia and SEA Games in Vietnam had they not been both delayed. Like in Red, our TV5 would be a national TV network that has a personality of a people pleaser. Remember the American Music Awards and Mnet Countdown? With the Metro Manila Film Festival fast approaching, I can assume that they can pay and their pay TV channels would have secured the exclusive contract to cover the event. In terms of digital TV, they would go ramp up faster with their transmitters as they do now to compete against the towering monopolistic giant. Their silly TV with a digibox would have promoted on their platforms instead of going on booths as they are doing now. This alternate 2021, CNN Philippines would hold to a high standard and expect collective headaches from the bosses. A few fortunate ex-employees from Mother Ignatia's now dissolved current affairs would have to be integrated with Shaw Boulevard, but some of the workforce at Shaw would have to let go. In the AET, not much difference in terms of programming, but during the candidacy fighting period that October, those newly employed bunch would have become the pivotal factor against the boss's will. Like with GMA, the political fanatics and prospects would expect PTV to improve in every aspect: programming, facilities, and technical equipment, and to compete with commercial counterparts. Like in the RET, the DTT ready transmitters in Baguio and Metro Manila are captured in frequency sweeps, but in AET, it would be as consistent by this time. The Visayas Media Hub would have been inaugurated by April, just in time for the 500th anniversary of the victory in Mactan. Programming-wise, I wouldn't see any difference, although Oras ng Himala would end its partnership to concentrate on their dedicated digital subchannel on RJ DGTV, just like in real life. Their intended noontime show, Good Afternoon, which they consider as a sign to compete with the commercial giants, would still never take off in favor of palace briefings. IBC's programming would have been what they were before, boring and unreachable, as Tepe TV did not exist. El Shaddai would have been there, Talents Academy would have continued, Kultura would have started creating new episodes, and Home Shopping would still be there. SMAC's television productions TV plans would be reduced to SMAC Pinoy Ito on Sunday afternoons, as Good Afternoon would have been over the air there, as the initial sister channel, cannot improve its programming and remain a government mouthpiece. Earlier last month, RET, their Facebook page made a call to Congress to pass the 365 million peso retirement package of 131 former employees that were retired from 1998 to 2019. Either way, their calls are easily and sadly quashed as the legislature passed a business-as-usual budget. Beam TV would still be the same, a wandering digital TV channel, or as one of my friends would call it, a DTT farm, with a little difference. At the start of the year, INQ 990 TV pulled the plug as their main AM radio station was off the air when its franchise, Trans Radio Broadcasting Corporation, expired, leaving a void of the main channel's programming. After being humiliated due to PTV's interruption, Pacquiao's MPBL would find a new home there and would begin to tip off in June as usual, but operational control, like now, was transferred to Just to Go. That 25's noontime show, Happy Time, would have lasted a bit longer because of the studio audience. Never mind if the initial hosts got sacked. With the involvement of veteran TV executive Wilma Galvante, this channel would continue to gain momentum with stars and talents, though not all from the fallen behemoth, giving a space of their interest to correct the errors of their former network's ways. Though it would be overlooked by the general public, it would indeed be wholesome and family-oriented, as long as it's A-OK in the eyes and ears of the church administration. UNTV would have seen the Wish 107.5 Music Awards, UNTV Cup, and ASAP Music Festival in action. In other words, no significant change in programming. Like in the real life, they revived their social TV, STV, digital channel to grab the rights to cover the PMTC Star Wars trilogy over PTV and TV5, much to the dismay of GMA. On SMNI, we won't see a change about them, except the founding pastors rewarding the outgoing president's supporters, including those who partook in the closure of Mother Ignatia, with unfiltered programs on their news channel. With the indictment of the head from the US emerging just last month, RET, they would still be defensive in their reports in any way. With the retrenched broadcasting engineers and radio telephone operators finding new employment in regional stations, those who have been denied access to funding for digital terrestrial television facilities like Dodong Lim Chua's Cebu Catholic Television Network and the Laos family's Central Luzon Television CLTV, they would have pressed the panic button, realizing that they must be serious about the digital TV transition. In a nutshell, the mayhem of the Philippine TV landscape would continue in the alternate 2021 for the remaining players. Either way, the smooth transition towards digital TV wouldn't be practically achievable by the end of 2023, but the sizable audience is slowly moving on to streaming services to entertain themselves. Do you have an alternative take you want to share? Feel free to comment down, and thank you for watching this final regular video of 2021. See you in 2022.